Welcome back to another episode of Kate and Isaiah Living Large. I'm Isaiah.
And I'm Kate.
And in this episode, we are going to talk about sickness.
Down with the sickness.
Down with the sickness? Yeah, nice. I'm just getting off of having a rough cold. And so we figured we might as well have a conversation about it.
I very generously offered to not do a podcast. And not the only reason was because I didn't want to sit in a small room with someone who had been sick.
Yeah.
But we're here.
We're here. I'm better-ish.
Probably past the point of spreading.
Oh, definitely past the point of spreading.
Oh.
But before we get into that conversation, what's new? What's the what is going on?
Oh, lots is going on. I am on vacation this week, which is exciting. By the time you hear this podcast, I will be in Halifax, and Wednesday night, which is tonight, I will be performing in Halifax at Beerley's, doing some comedy there. So I'm excited to do my first Nova Scotia show.
Ooh, yeah.
This will complete the Maritime Triumvirate. I've done one show in PEI. This will be my first show in Nova Scotia. Someday I'll go full Atlantic Canada.
Go to Newfoundland. But for now, I'll be a maritime wide comic. Not just wide because I'm fat, but just, you know. Oh, but terrible.
So that's pretty exciting. And spending the week with my friend Jocelyn. And so excited about that. And she's a real foodie. So she's going to.
All the food places.
She'll bring me to the best places.
Are you in Halifax or are you somewhere else in Nova Scotia?
I'm in the HRM. Yeah, in Halifax. In
so
Spryfield, technically.
Oh, okay.
Which is in Halifax.
Yeah.
What about you? What's going on? I almost stole your line. What's the haps?
Because I was sick, I missed out on researching for my my NL, but that's fine. That's okay.
When are you going to reschedule?
December 21st, I'm rescheduled to do it.
Merry Christmas to you.
I know, right? So December 21st is when I'm rescheduled to do it. I'm researching with a bunch of my staff. So
that's awesome. It'll be the shortest day of the year, and maybe you'll have the best time.
Maybe that would be nice. Other than that, it's getting over the sickness kind of where I'm at the moment. I tried to do so. I got sick around like Friday 2 weeks ago ish now. And I tried to do my 400 meter on Thursday, the day that like my real sickness, like that was the day I was like down and out. And I tried to do my 400 meter that day. I did like half of it and I could just feel my lungs like crackling.
Nothing like water to further make you feel like your lungs are collapsing.
Yeah, no, it was not great. So that was stupid of me. But I am better now. I still got a little bit of a cough, but I'm good now.
That's good. You better be. I better not be in this enclosed space with you.
I know, right?
Otherwise, they'll be held to pay. You think your sickness was bad. Just joking.
But we want to talk about sickness and the kind of the things that maybe go on in our heads while we are sick and all that fun stuff. But why don't you start us off?
Yeah, well, let's start with the person who's well. Okay. No, here's the thing. When you told me you were sick, I never felt this way before. I always kind of thought, well, things will run its course and I'll get sick when I get sick. And then that thing happened in 2020, which we don't have to talk about fully. I don't even want to say its ugly name. But I started to get this real paranoia about being sick, partially because of the fear surrounding that thing, but also because in that same time frame, I did get really sick with something unrelated, with some kind of strep infection. It wasn't strep throat. It was some sort of, but I was very ill. And then I got that thing about a year later and was very ill. And it seemed both things really did a number on me and on my respiratory system. And I seemed to carry them for months and months and months and months and months. And it got me to thinking, and like when you do any research, when you are heavier, that is, when they talked about, if you have any of these mitigating circumstances that can make you more prone to being sick and having further complications. Well, guess what? being heavy is one of them, as is having high blood pressure. Ding. And
that usually comes with obesity.
yeah. So when all of these, well, but not necessarily.
No, not
There's
necessarily,
lots
but-
of people who have high blood pressure.
that are not obese. But
And I was talking,
there are vice
but
versa.
you know, there is some link. But so anytime in recent years, and I don't know if this is also because I'm getting older, which we'll talk about the next episode. I get really scared of being sick.
Yeah. I have asthma on top of everything else.
Right.
So when I get sick, I'm not too terrified of being sick. I just don't like the feeling of it. But yes, I don't like anything that affects my lungs in general is kind of a questionable point. Again, because I have asthma, I am already susceptible to just not being able to breathe.
Right.
And then being sick on top of that causes you also not to be able to breathe. It's not a great time.
Well, especially now that you have a fairly physical job and like you're around people all the time, so you're much more prone to getting sick.
Yes, children carry diseases like crazy.
Yeah, they are little cesspools, and you're in a pool, so
true.
The other thing is like I had pneumonia years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe longer. I don't know. But that does make you more susceptible that when I do get sick, everything travels straight to my lungs.
I remember when I had pneumonia, I had walking pneumonia, and I did not know I had walking pneumonia. And I was in my early 20s. I was living on Union Street at the time. So I was in my early 20s. Oh no, I wasn't even in Union Street at that time. So yeah, definitely early 20s. And I remember just like going to work and just not being able to breathe at all and just be like, it's fine, I'm okay. And then being at home with Andrea and just laying on the bed, just like dying, not being able to breathe at all. And I'm like, I'm okay. And she's like, no, we're going to the hospital. And yeah, I went to St. Joe's, of course, because I was uptown. And they immediately threw me in an ambulance and took me to the hospital over here because they're like, we don't want to deal with you.
It was similar with me. I didn't realize how sick I was getting, but I was going on vacation the next week. It was in November besides.
Yeah.
This time of year. And I'd been building for vacation at the time. I was city editor of the Telegraph Journal. So I was working like 70, 80 hours a week regularly. And I knew I was going on vacation. I'd been feeling a little bit unwell for a few days, but like, just ignore it. Just ignore it. And I was supposed to go to Ontario, but I decided to cancel that trip because I was just feeling unwell. I thought I'll just go to visit my sister instead because she had 2 little fellas at the time. And actually, this was 10 years ago. And now that I figured out what the timeline is, I don't know why I'm like Isaiah now, like, and I was living on Union Street. And this is because the details that you clearly need to know.
Clearly.
And it was like 8 or 9, about 8 o'clock the night I was supposed to be off, and I was trying to get everything ready so I could do a handoff note. I was freezing, but also sweating, and I had somebody had lent me a blanket, and I was literally like shivering under a blanket, like typing, but couldn't even focus. So the head was kind of everywhere. And finally, my boss looked at me and was like, "I've worked here for 30 years. There's nothing that you're gonna put in that handoff note that I can't figure out on Monday. Leave now." So that was fine. So I was living with mom and dad at the time, and I went to their place, and I was just like, got under the covers, and I couldn't get warm, and and they gave me Tylenol. I just like had this fever, and I felt awful. I went to the doctor. I called the doctor on the Monday, and she got me in right away. Bless. And she listened to my lungs, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I wish I had a med student here." She said, "Your lungs are like the perfect orchestra of pneumonia." This is what I'd love to hear, that have them here. And I was like, great.
Perfect.
And so she gave me a prescription. And at the time, her office was attached to a drugstore. So I went to fill up my pharmacy, and at this pharmacy, there was one chair. And I was like, I had a hard time to stand up. I was so rode off. And so I saw this little, I was going to passed it in. I went to wait for my prescription. This little old lady went and sat in the chair, and I was like, but here I am. I was like not quite 30 years old. I was like 30 years old in reasonably good health, theoretically, except I was just so overcome that I went to this like empty aisle in the drugstore and put my head down on a shelf and shut my eyes until they called my name. I was just like, oh, I've never felt so awful. And saying that was when I was 30. Then I had those other bouts of issues. Like I had bronchitis once, and then I had this other strep thing, and then I had COVID, and none of it, and all of it took longer and longer to come back from. And I was just like, and now I think too, the older you get, the more you recognize how
sick you actually are
and how susceptible you can, and how close that is to it getting worse. Cause it used to be like, oh, you have a cold, whatever, you have pneumonia, whatever. But then all of a sudden it's like, the COPD is coming for me.
Listen, I have a man cold. That's how it works.
Yeah.
I am just miserable for like 2 days. I literally slept on the couch because I was coughing so much because I didn't want to disturb Andrea, but obviously I'm coughing in the living room and she's sleeping in.
It's not like your place is a mansion.
No, it's not. But I think I had pneumonia was the worst one I had. And that was so bad. I know I got COVID twice. They weren't too bad. It just was like, it felt almost a little bit more than a cold. And it only lasted for like 2 days.
Yeah, that was not my experience with COVID. Mine was horrendous.
Yeah, no, mine weren't too bad. I had already gotten like my shot and my boosters before I had ever gotten COVID. So it was. I feel like the shot didn't exist when I got COVID. Yeah, that would probably.
Yeah, although I did end up on TV in a very classic Caitlin move. There was I had the vid, and it was around July. It was when all the Big Tide got COVID, around that same time in 2021, I think. And was just down for the count. And I was in the middle of, anyway, it doesn't matter. And I was just so miserable. And then finally I was going to get up and work from home on the Friday, but there was a massive like nationwide Rogers outage. Mm-hmm. And so I had no internet and no TV. And I was just like, what the hell is this? So then I was scrolling the Twitter, and one of the big national news, I think it was the National, Peter Mansbridge or somebody was like, tell us where you're suffering this Rogers outage. And I was like, I'm in St. John, New Brunswick, and I have COVID, and I was supposed to start back working from home today, and now I can't work, and I'm sick. And a local media outlet saw it and then interviewed me, and I had my phone propped up. I think I looked green because I was so sick, and I sounded like this.
Perfect.
It's like I was going to work today. Thanks, Rogers.
I do sometimes miss the days of sitting inside and not having an excuse not to go anywhere.
I do not. Although, and you can always have that excuse. It's called saying no.
Yeah, no, not as much.
Yeah. No, that's still a real thing. But you have the FOMO, eh?
Yeah, I get FOMO.
It's like nobody else is going out, so I'm not missing anything.
No, that's exactly it. No one else was going anywhere, so I wasn't missing anything. So I was sitting at home, and it was great.
I didn't mean for this to be a COVID episode, right? But like, I think that was a thing that made me a lot more weary, and it also made me a lot more likely to, if I really need it, take a sick day.
Honestly, I think that period of time was an eye-opener for a lot of people to take sick days and not be sick at work and stuff. Of course, not me.
Well, and not abuse them, but just like if you're genuinely sick, and I say this, I've been in my new job for over a year now. I've not taken one sick day.
This is the first time I took a sick day.
Right.
Yeah. But I think it was this point in time where people, in general, I know there's just still a select few that are like not wearing masks, but I think this was a time where people started to think about, if I'm feeling a little sick, I should wear a mask. And I think that definitely grew up. Now I think we're on our way out of that period of time where people feel like that, and now people are a little bit more confused and weary of people wearing masks. But
yeah, you know what? I don't know what's wrong. Like, I'm a huge proponent of people wearing masks, except when I see someone wearing a mask, I'm like, why are you hiding? And I'm like, are you sick? Are you that sick that you're wearing a mask? Why are you near me?
yeah, which is interesting because when I like in the Asian countries that I've visited, it is very common for people to wear masks.
Yes, the smog.
In general, not just the smog, yes, but also just in general, if you feel any kind of sick, it's in general very commonplace for. It's interesting that we don't do that as much in North America.
Well, we have a lot of space here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like when I see somebody wearing a mask outside, I'm like, what are you doing? Your drug dealer? Because you know where the best compliance was walking down Waterloo Street.
I suppose
I saw it. I was like, makes sense.
But yeah, it was an interesting time, and I think it did make us a little bit more weary of being sick, though. In general, I know that on top of like again having asthma, it's definitely a thing I'm more conscious of now than I was in my 20s.
Right. Well, on that note, I hope you're feeling better, Isaiah.
I am,
and I hope your research goes well in December.
I hope so too.
I'm sorry that you missed it, and I'm glad you're feeling better in time for us to record this episode.
Yeah. But let's wrap this up. Where can people find us on the internet?
People can find us at Kate and Isaiah Living Large.
You can find me
on the Facebook.
On the Facebooks. And you can find me at Maritime Brews on all of the social medias. Of course, we still have our Buy Me a Coffee going on.
Oh, and one more thing. One more thing.
Oh, hold your horses.
Hold the payments.
Yeah.
I have a show. It's a Bad Words for a Good Cause on Sunday the 16th. Be a great one for you to come to, Isaiah. Kelly Lamrock is the headliner. He's the child and youth advocate in New Brunswick, and it's to raise money for Bullying Canada.
Ooh,
which is an anti-bullying organization. We're not.
You're not supporting bullying. You're supporting anti-bullying.
Yeah, and then the other person on the lineup is Brady Manderville, and I think you'd like him. He also played football.
Oh,
and he has a great bit about football and concussions and stuff.
That's my wife's birthday. I don't know if I will be.
So you bring her.
Well, actually, the day after it's her birthday, but
whatever feeble excuse you want to make up.
That'll be the day after the Christmas parade.
The day after the Christmas parade, right down at Wasted Day.
Heck yeah! Are you going to the Christmas parade?
No, I'm going to be in Halifax.
If you are listening to this on Wednesday, look for me in the Christmas parade.
Are you in the Christmas parade?
I'm in the Christmas parade
with the Y.
With the Y, yeah.
Are you the Y or the M or the C or the A?
I've convinced the YMCA to be in the Christmas parade again. So look for me. I will be in the van.
Be really making a splash?
Yes, making a splash.
She runs the pool.
All right, but other than that, we do thank you all for listening. And if you are listening wherever you're listening to us at or watching us at, if you can like, share, subscribe, it would be much appreciated. But until next week.